and you made a really cool graphic. You guys want to talk about the NACWA Power Bonus for the Kayak Adventure Series events?
Absolutely. Thanks, Drew. And so we're really excited to announce that at every event of the Kayak Adventure Series, there will be an additional competition, and it's called the NACWA Power Bonus. And so it's an additional prize package to win NACWA Adventure gear worth $1,000, split between $500 of NACWA Adventure gear and then $500 cash money. And it's pretty simple to register. When you register for the event, you're going to be asked, do you want to participate as well in the NACWA Power Bonus? Another qualifier is you have to be running a form of NACWA Power on your kayak. And so, whether you already run NACWA, that's awesome. But if you don't, we have some economically priced batteries, and Drew's got it up on the screen, actually, the power bank. So that's a $39.99, 10,000 milliamp power bank. And so we make it super affordable to get entered into the NACWA Power Bonus. If you don't run our power products already. And then you just have to follow NACWA, follow Kayak Adventure Series on Instagram. And it's the top placing angler in that event wins the prize. And so we're really, really excited about it. Hopefully everybody else is as well. And it's just another great addition to the Kayak Adventure Series winnings.
Your attention to something quite extraordinary.
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series, this is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore, you want to be shallow, you want to go up the creek. You want to have a kayak that is sophisticated or a kayak that is simple. You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
Yo. What is going on, Jake?
Not much. Just in the new office here, we got everything reorganized, and I'm trying to get organized. It's tough.
Yeah, man. What happened to our background? Hey, here we go. There we go. There's our theater background. New office, huh? That's cool, man. Feels good to be organized. I mean, getting stuff done in the winter, making use of the cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, it got really nice last week, and then it turned around, and we got more cold coming, so it kind of sucks. But hey, we'll be in Florida in 2.5 weeks. So
yeah, that's right. See, now I just left Florida to fly back down, so it was fun. It was a fun time down there, and like you, just so everyone knows today, thank you guys for tuning in live. We're going to get your comments, your questions. I see a bunch of people on live with us. Jake and I both have sick kids, so at home.
Yeah, he was just talking to me.
You never know what's going to happen. Wife's here too, but she's not feeling good. So, of course, when I leave, they get the flu. I come home, we have a leaky toilet, right? I got to fix this. It's got running water. The water company's like, you got a leak. And so we got a toilet that's got to get fixed. Of course, my trailer cracked on the way down. Had to get it fixed. Left it down there at Dustin Hoy's house, which is not a better time to shout out Raccoon Creek Outfitters, right up there in the corner, owned by Mr. Dustin Hoy and his family. They do a great job. If you are in the Northeast Ohio region, just anywhere in this Midwest region, go check them out. So thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast live streams. But yeah, left it down there at his house that he has in Florida in Silver Springs with all of the Kayak Adventure Series Ocalapalooza stuff. And thank you guys for signing up. We're seeing lots of signups for Ocalapalooza. We probably got 30 something people signed up now, maybe including team division, individual, microbag. 30 something signups. So that's pretty darn good for a couple weeks out here.
I'm really impressed how many micro bag only people there's been. And this isn't just a trend this year. It was last year too. People showed up and they only fished the micro bag. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want to be a part of the adventure and the fun, it's a great way to go about it. $25. So
I mean, technically, the only event I fished last year was the micro bag. So
yeah, technically, yeah, that's right. I mean, you've kind of like me stayed away from actually like fishing the main event. So I think you could definitely get away with doing a micro bag. No one would have a problem with that. But anyway, I'm excited about this preview show. Okay, Achigan's Mississippi Bronzequest. It's going to be epic. I mean, we've got a full lineup for you guys today. So bring your questions, your comments. I see Craig Besco's already in the green room, ready to roll. We're going to bring him in from St. Cloud here in a minute and get this show started. But yeah, hey, just to recap my event down in Florida, it was fun. Bassmaster Kayak Series. I won over there in Havasu, and as a quick turnaround for the Kissimmee chain of lakes in Florida, and only had that 1 day of practice, which has kind of been what I'm shooting for this year. Had the trailer mishap, which cost me. I had to stay awake all night long on the side of the road waiting for a 24-hour welder and a tow truck. And it was just a nightmare. I mean, I didn't sleep one bit in a sketchy part of kind of Columbia, South Carolina, where it happened. And so that was a rough day for me. But I still made it there. Time to practice 1 day and finished 35th out of 224. So can't complain, all things considered. The weather was incredible. Much nicer than it is up here or where you are. So no complaints there. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to since we last spoke, I guess last week. So anything you want to touch on, man? I know you went to a show with Marty Hughes. You did
I actually went to the, what's he called that? The Kayak Jack Expo up in Nebraska, which I didn't realize how far away it was going to be. I didn't drive the whole way. I drove over to Eco Fishing Shop up in Camdenton by Lake of the Ozarks, and then they drove the rest of the way, but we showed off some kayaks. We had some Crescents there. We had some bona fides there. We had a native there. I'm trying to think what else. I think somebody had a Hobie. So there was a lot of kayaks there, a lot of kayak talks and discussions. Honestly, it was a really cool event. I think they had like over close to 500 people come through the doors, and they raffled off a bunch of stuff for charity, and it was a cool time.
Nice, man. Very nice. Yeah, I saw some pictures of that. Look great. So
yeah, that XTR, man, that thing is a conversation starter. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. Is it a boat? Is it a kayak? Yeah, there's a lot going on with that. So we will see how that plays, if it does at all, in the Mississippi River up there in the upper Mississippi. I'm sure their RVR will be better, or as Crescent Kayaks is the presenting kayak manufacturer for that event. So obviously, we all know I'm partial to the Shoaly, but and it's going to be a great boat for that event as well. Both of those being great river boats. So we'll see. But I think I'm ready to bring Craig in. If you're ready, man, we'll get right to it here. Nothing else I can think of. So let's bring him in. Let's talk about this Achigan, Mississippi Bronzequest. After some bronze, let's bring him in. Hey, Craig.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing good, buddy. Doing good, man. As you probably heard, it's been wild. With two young ones and all that going on, Jake and I both have, it's been nuts. I'm not complaining. When I won that tournament on Lake Havasu and flew out there and flew back with the blue trophy, it put me back about a week and a half, because there's a lot of interviews and media stuff, which is not, I'm not complaining. Trust me, anybody out there, please don't make comment. I am definitely not complaining. It was great for the Kayak Adventure Series. I go on the different podcasts and media, and I always kind of touch on what we're doing over here at the KAS. Bassmaster and I work really well together, and Steve Owens does an incredible job running those events, and we deconflict to make our schedule work where people can hit, both of these national trails and not really have any conflict. So we're excited to get up there to St. Cloud. It's just an incredible area that I selfishly scheduled this in St. Cloud because I've never fished the upper Mississippi River, and I fished all over this country. So
we're excited to have you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. I'm going to bring in the webpage, but just real quick, tell us a little bit about, what you do with the city there. We were blessed to have you come visit our Wisconsin River Fest event last year. So that was really cool. You stopped by that one. And give us a little rundown on your role there in St. Cloud.
Well, I am the sports director with our travel and tourism department, which Convention and Visitors Bureau. I work with different sporting or special events from state, regional, trying to get some national events in like y'all. We're just trying to bring in people just to showcase the St. Cloud area. I mean, we're right on the Mississippi. The Mississippi literally goes right through St. Cloud. But there is so much potential with fishing that we're like, again, just so excited to have KAS come and showcase that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It really is. And I've got some maps here. We'll pull in the satellite images. We'll show kind of where some of the stuff's going to go down with you here, walk you through it. I will pull up the web page too, and I'll bring it in.
I've always been a huge fan of the Mississippi past Iowa. Like, I think it's just awesome. And I love lacrosse. And everyone's like, well, if you like lacrosse, let me tell you, you got to keep going. It gets even better.
It does. Yeah. So. We know this. And we'll bring Josh Strinko on here in a little bit. He literally told us on one of our earlier podcasts that he's the owner of Achigan, Craig, and that's the official brand of the smallmouth bass. Achigan is the Algonquin word for smallmouth, I think is what they say. So anyway, this is going to be like every year we're going to have an event called the Bronzequest, and this is the first one, and Achigan will always kind of sponsor that event. And what's cool is it's going to be sort of like, every year sort of mecca that all the most fanatical smallmouth anglers don't want to miss that one. If there's one to hit, if you're a smallmouth angler, this is the one. This
That's
year,
some genius marketing. You should give your marketing guy a raise.
Exactly right. So you guys can see my screen here, the Mississippi Bronzequest page.
Yep.
Okay. And I just added some stuff. Oh man, did it not go through? I hit save. Hang on. Let me stop the sharing and go back to my editor. I hit save and I'm trying to figure out why I didn't. But in the meantime, we can also share the map. I had all the event details done and I put them in there. I may just need to hit refresh. That's what it is. I bet you my computer is just cached. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Yeah, it was just cached. I knew something was up. I know I hit share. Let's try that again. So here we go. So there's a few TBDs in there, but we'll get those knocked out. But as you can see, guys, July 11th and 12th, is our tournament dates. July 6th and 12th is the tournament week. We got your Visit St. Cloud link there. You guys can check out visitstcloud.com if you're bringing your friends and family, because, Craig, tell us about, there's a lot to do there besides just the fishing. So if someone has family with kids and they're just kind of looking for an excuse to come up there, fish the event, plus have something to do with the family, a couple quick things you can think of that would be really cool that time of the year for the family to be a part of.
Well, right away, I'm saying anyone that's going to be coming up, come up for at least Wednesday night for sure. There's a large outdoor free concert that happens every single Wednesday in the summertime. That's downtown by Lake George. Thousands of people go, beer garden, food trucks, all that stuff. You have to go if you're bringing up your family or even yourself too. It is a great time. The other thing on Thursday night, right across the river, there's also more live music that's free. Outdoor amphitheater that's right along the Mississippi. But another thing that's really kind of cool that people travel to our area for are the granite quarries. It's over 680 acres of nature preserve that it's old decommissioned granite quarries. Yeah. But they have swimming holes that you can go jump off cliffs. It is amazing. You can actually do some trout fishing in there. Our DNR stocks it with trout.
Really?
So maybe not maybe not bringing your kayak, but you can still do some fishing.
So it probably is right. Look at all this stuff. I'm on your website now. look at this. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
there's so much to do in the summertime. Literally almost every single night of the week, somewhere there's live music playing. So if you're a live music fanatic, you got your calendar here. There's things to do. Like our new campaign right now is the Yes campaign for any kids. There's so much to do with families. So it's just literally plan a vacation and come on up. You're not going to be bored.
Yeah, there's plenty on this Visit St. Cloud website. Wow, this is awesome. But you guys go check out visitstcloud.com. You can see all the things that you might need to be aware of if you're trying to persuade a particular significant other to.
And you can even plan your trip right there on the bottom of that page. It says plan your trip. You can go click on everything and add it to your itinerary, and it'll save it all for you.
Okay, cool. I can.
Is a big smallmouth not enough incentive?
I know, right? That's true. You guys keep any questions or comments coming? Fishing with
JT
Gramps
said he's hunting for a 20, but I don't think you should stop at a 20. I feel like just go higher.
That's true. I think what's that Achigan shirt that says Chasing 23? I
Quest
think
for
maybe
23. I
Quest
got
for
it
23.
somewhere.
I
I
mean,
probably
that's,
should have worn it.
yeah, I left mine in Florida, but anyway, that's perfect. That's good stuff to do in the area. And you know what? One of the things on the website, I'll bring the website back up. I had TBD because I was going to ask you where we should do our opening welcome dinner hangout on Wednesday. It's optional because not everyone's there, necessarily by Wednesday, but most people are. So I figured, last year we started it on the last event or two, an optional Wednesday welcome dinner, and it was a hit. Even if we had 15, 20 people there, that was 15, 20 people who got a chance to go out. They knew there was a place they were all going to meet, have food together, fellowship, which is a big part of this series. So you just answered my question. We're going to
Lake George.
the Lake George, the food trucks and all that.
Yep.
We're going to go there on Wednesday.
And that's a short walk from downtown even. I mean, you can walk back, stumble back if you have to. But I mean, it's perfect.
So Wednesday right there, guys, 7-9, the welcome dinner is going to be, I'll add that to the site or have Josiah do it. Josiah's been crushing it. Our high school intern, if you will, who lives right near me. He is crushing it on getting stuff done for KAS. So big shout out and thank you to him for all that he does for us. And Eric Kruger, who will be on the show later too. Man, this could never be done with one person. Jake, as you alluded to earlier, killing it on the social media and marketing lately, promoting all the anglers and putting videos up. I don't know, Craig, if you follow us much on Instagram, but I mean, it's working. You guys are taking you're getting footage out there of these amazing areas, incredible fish catches and some bloopers and blunders, whatever you got. It's entertaining. It's all of the adventure of kayak fishing. Jake is taking
Honestly,
that.
the more bloopers, the better.
Yeah, more bloopers, the better. That stuff definitely tends to go viral more. But we're using it and using you guys on social media and getting it out there. If you got sponsors, I know that helps you guys. So keep it coming. Keep it coming. So that's where we'll do our Wednesday welcome dinner. And yeah, this is kind of the site, guys. You can go check it out. All the stuff's on there, your event details, and more TBD stuff will be added as we learn more about it. You can see there are, let's talk about the venues real quick. I'll pull up the Google Maps because it's going to be starting off at the, let's see. I don't know, Craig, do you remember where we were considering doing for our Thursdays opening ceremonies? I don't know if we set on that or not yet. I can't remember if we've made a final decision.
Was that going to be,
or did we?
Is where people are trying out the kayaks and whatnot?
That's our festival right before. That's Lake George Park, right? Yeah, Saturday.
I don't know if
like a brewery
wasn't brought up yet.
I don't know if we've absolutely finalized that, or if we were just kind of looking around for the right restaurant or brewery or where we want to have our opening ceremonies. But obviously, we got a long time before this event. We'll get that on here. But we do know that we're going to be at the Pioneer Place on 5th. We know that for the awards, the theater, and then also before that, Lake George Park. So let's pull that up on the map so people can see it real quick. Let me stop sharing this, and I'll share the screen here for the map.
This actually does look, looking at this map, it looks like a freaking playground for river anglers. Like it is.
Oh, it's going to be
crazy.
Unbelievable.
I'm blown away by this.
Let me just quickly put in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I'll pull up that map. And I'll share it with you guys. Here we go. So, all right, there we are. There's your St. Cloud. So we will, just so you guys know, we're going to be here at Lake George Park for the festival on Saturday. It's still TBD on the basket brunch and the check-in on Thursday. But this is an awesome little park. And what's cool is we'll have Dan on here from Clearwater Outfitters here in a little bit. And we'll be able to do some kayak demos as well. So if you want to try one out, we got this cool little lake right here. It's perfect. And I don't know where, if you can point, but typically the food trucks are probably somewhere in here on this parking lot, I guess.
They're actually in the grass, just north of the parking lot. Yep.
Perfect. So right here.
And then you can see the stage.
Yep, the stage is right here.
And it's filled with people.
So that's perfect. We'll be hanging out there, putting some vendors, tents up, whoever shows up to that particular, whichever sponsors show up to that one. And that's very close to the water. So it's going to be easy for you guys to hop in, try a new kayak.
Yep.
Like I said, we got 6 great kayak manufacturers who sponsor the series. Crescent Kayaks, who I work with, is the sponsor of this event. We actually have a cool special announcement. Maybe we'll get into that later. We're not going to tell the announcement, but I will tell you that we are, I don't know if that's lame to tell people about an announcement that's going to happen later, but I'm announcing there will be a cool announcement at this event for Crescent Kayaks. So Call me lame if you want, but this is a cool spot. Plenty of parking. I mean, that's a lot of parking. We might fill that up. I don't know, because this park's still open to the public that day
There's
as well.
even parking to the north too.
Okay, parking in the
Yeah,
north.
I know that's always a point of contention for a lot of kayak anglers because they have their kayaks in the.
Yep, right here.
Yeah.
Yep, trailers and kayaks. So, I think we'll be okay. But you guys could probably line up. Probably utilize this area here.
Even on the streets.
Yeah,
We'll have some cool. Kind of jumping ahead, but we'll have some cool security things that we want to show off this year, which is a special kayak lock, which is going to be really popular with these kayak guys, especially when you're leaving your kayak in like just a random parking lot. So
that is.
I'm actually really excited for that. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I am too. That's going to be good. The next major venue, and if you do stay downtown, that's a little bit tricky for some people with their kayaks and all that. But if you do, then that lock is perfect. But I know a lot of you guys might stay out around the area and, a little bit more room space. But there's plenty of great hotels here. We're going to link to their special offers and deals, that they're offering you guys. Obviously, if you're coming in with your family, if their family needs to stay somewhere and just there for Friday and Saturday's festivities, downtown is perfect. Lots of restaurants, lots of good stuff to do there. But I want to show you guys the Pioneer Place on 5th is somewhere around here. Usually it'll come up
next to 7 West. So keep going in.
Keep going in until it pops up.
Right.
There it goes. Pioneer Place on 5th is the theater. Okay. So it's really cool spot. I mean, really cool. As you can see, it's got that old classic, feel to it. Like a lot of our theaters, it's got the, so didn't they turn this? Is this the one they turned into like a restaurant bar as well?
So they have a little bit of a bar in the front,
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a bar upstairs. But they just recently last year or so made a speakeasy down below.
Oh,
so
well,
you got.
Hey, we have a good track record with those.
Yeah, we do have a good track record with speakeasies. We actually use the speakeasy for our Bass University brunch, our Friday brunch. So maybe we'll talk to Ray about using the theater for that brunch as well.
We learned that it's very difficult to record footage in a speakeasy because it is so dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very unique.
I don't know what I just did there. Yeah, that's true. It was very hard to record them. All right. So the Pioneer Place on 5th. But here's the thing. Just so you guys know, we'll get into this as we get closer to the event. It's a little bit of a walk from the park too. So I can't remember, Craig, if alcohol is even allowed. Some cities let us have it outside or not. So if somebody is drinking or not, we don't want people to get in their cars and drive. So you can walk. It's not that far of a walk.
You'd have to have a permit if you're going to have.
All right. I can't remember if we were doing that or not. But either way, I think we're maybe not going to do that at the festival. Right. But here's why. We want to spend that money at Pioneer Place on 5th because they're having us there and they've got the alcohol there. So we want to go ahead and if you're going to drink, do it at the Pioneer Place on 5th and so, but it's a little bit of a walk, but not bad. So you guys can decide if you want to carpool over there or take the 10-minute walk over there. It's up to you guys. We might even have a shuttle. We might even have like a shuttle. Toyota usually comes to every one of these events, Toyota trucks. So maybe they can run people back and forth in the new Toyotas and show them off. So you guys can get a taste of what it's like to be in a brand new 2025 Toyota Tundra or Tacoma. So that's an idea as well. So a little shuttle action. But what else do you think of, man, that we're missing? I mean, the river, we're going to get into that with the anglers. We're going to have Dan on from Clearwater Outfitters. We're going to have some of the local anglers and tournament anglers on. You can obviously watch live yourself, Craig, or stick around in the green room and watch it how you're watching it now if you want to. But we're excited just to be there to experience the whole area. And you guys can clearly see in this preview show why we chose St. Cloud. It is just perfect for what we're trying to do here. And it obviously has the fish. Anything you can think of that we're missing, any restaurants, anything that you want to just shout out that we might want to try while we're there?
One other thing just to mention, though, too, is that the host hotel, the Best Western, is literally a block away from where that theater is. So going in for your theater for the award ceremony or what have you, you can walk away from the hotel. You don't need to find anything special. So
yeah, we'll link to their room block specials on the website. So, and all this goes live today. I think some people already figured out it was live on Tourney X, and they went and there's already one person registered before it was even. So he's definitely getting the $100 gift bag. But the first 50 anglers, get $100 sponsors gift bag. and some really cool stuff from these gift bags this year from Naqua, from Finman Fishing, Yak Gadget, Kayak Cushion discounts. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm trying to think. Z-Man will have stuff in there. You guys will love the gift bags this year. It's really, really cool stuff. So, yeah, I appreciate it. We can't wait to get there and get to the rest of this show. And I know most people are probably saying we just can't wait for warm weather to be here finally and be up there catching 100 inches of smallmouth, which is going to happen at that event. I'm almost certain of that, and we'll clarify that with the anglers later. But I'm almost certain we're going to give away some Century belts, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, who knows? So,
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for your time. Can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you.
Good fun. Bye.
I'm definitely going to try and move some stuff around to make this one. All right, Tony. Yeah. I mean, hey, I don't care where you live in this country, this is like 1A for kayak fishing, like for smallmouth. And what other time are you going to have an excuse or reason to go there than now, right? I mean, this is the Achigan Bronzequest event of the year. So it's going to be a gathering. That is for sure.
I met Tony at the Kayak Jack Expo, and I was talking it up saying, this is going to be the one, man. This is the one.
It is going to be the one. All right. Well, it looks like we got Josh in there already in the green room. So let's get him on, and then we'll bring on whoever shows up next. What's up, buddy? Oh, you're muted.
There you go.
Now we got you. What's up, man?
Not much. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just ready for this event, talking about it, getting excited about it. I love these preview shows, man. They just get you like pumped up to be there and start catching smallies. And so,
Yeah, I know it's hard to get excited about smallmouth when it's like 30 degrees out, and I guess it's a little bit warmer, but it's been single digits for so long. We still have ice in my driveway. So,
I had a long drive to Nebraska, and I listened to you talk about how you love fishing in the winter for like 3 hours.
I do. I would say winter is probably my favorite season to fish, but winter, you have like early winter, which is good, and then you have late winter, which is good. In the middle of winter, when it gets cold, it locks up the water. It's not much you can do. So
February is like my favorite smallmouth month.
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna reconnect my headset here.
Did we lose Drew? Are you there? Hang on a sec. I think we lost both of them. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I was trying to.
Okay.
My Bluetooth. I was getting like major feedback from you guys.
Yeah, it sounds good now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was saying. I'm glad it's been cold because I've been so busy with this bait stuff that I have not even. Chris invited me to go out last weekend, and I was like, dude, there's no way. And of course, he caught 220s.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sunday,
As I was going to bring that up, that you guys had a big bait rollout, and it's something you've been working on for a while. So
yeah,
kind of exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. It's this weekend at the Columbus Fishing Expo, but it's been, you start something and you're just like, oh yeah, this is pretty simple. You make a bait, you mold them, you package them. I'm like, dude, it's so much more work than what you even dreamed of. I've been at the office, every night till like 11, 12 o'clock, just pouring baits. It's a lot of work. So, but
are
yeah,
you guys, since Drew's not here, we'll kill some time. Are you guys, can you buy those on the website, or is it?
Eventually, yeah. So right now we're taking all the ones we made to Columbus, and we're gonna release half of them on Friday, half of them on Saturday, and then that's spring ding. So we're going to limit it to one package per person per day. So that's what we're going to do. And hopefully it'll stretch out. I have the very first package, which we gave away. I haven't mailed it out. Sorry, Merlin, but I think you were on that live, so you saw the packaging.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, you had showed it to me when we were at Wisconsin. I was like, dude, that's a genius idea.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the 7-inch line through that we're gonna do next, we're gonna do like Snickers, I suppose, like Snickers packaging, because it's only gonna come with one. So you can kind of start to see the trend of, the types of theme we're going for. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, we're excited about it. I'm like,
there we go.
Like
there's a good picture.
Yeah, the type of fishing that I do, it's like exactly. I really made it for myself. Is kind of the thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I've caught a lot of fish this year, a lot of smallmouth this year on that style of bait with that, the big jerk shad that I've been using. So
yeah, and I would say that's probably the most similar, that 7-inch jerk shad, which you'll see. When you get your hands on them, like they sink, so silicone sinks instead of floating like Elastec, and It's honestly more durable than Elastec. It almost feels like in your hand, it almost feels like a hard bait. Like it has that sort of feel. Like we were just at the Tennessee Fishing Expo, East Tennessee Fishing Expo, and we had just the prototype sitting on the table, and like people were like grabbing them and feeling them, and like almost every single person that grabbed one, they were like, what is this? Like I've never seen anything like it. There were people coming up to the booth saying, oh, I heard there was a silicone fluke at the show, and I was going to see it. So it was pretty cool. Now the bait holds its own as far as that goes.
Do you think that sort of bait's going to work well at the Bronzequest?
I would say no, because I want to throw it and I don't want anybody else throwing it.
They're going to use your own invention against you, because you're fishing in the team event, right?
Yeah, I think I actually was going to tell you guys, I think Chris and I are teaming up. So Team Wet Boy, I convinced Chris to come up. He already took time off. We're going to get an Airbnb, hopefully get some guys together to go up there. And it should be a good time, man. I'm like really looking forward to. That place. I know this is probably what I came on more to talk about. You guys know, like I travel all over the country fishing for smallmouth. Like I've been about every single part of the country you could think of, and have caught a smallmouth in west, north, south, whatever, east. And this place is, I would say 1A, 1B to Susquehanna, with this being 1A, but the difference is the Susquehanna has its bad days. Like whenever there's a lot of pressure or, you get a big tournament on, which this place I've never been when there's a big tournament, but these fish just don't see lures very often. So they're kind of dumb, if we're being honest. Like they're just, a smallmouth is already kind of dumb, really. Like,
dude, it's their nature. They're like hardwired to be jerks. They're just mean, It's like, oh, I don't like that whopper plopper. I'm gonna just slap it.
Dude, this is one of the only places consistently that I've like been on a legit frog bite for smallmouth.
Dude, I had one at Susky, man. Crazy. It was dope.
Yeah, I could see the Susky where you have that grass. The grass that, I don't know, maybe the guys that live around there could tell you what type of grass is in the river. But this grass is like, Susquehanna has that, I don't know what they call it.
It's coontail, isn't it? Up there?
It may be.
Isn't it like real like bushy and like
it? Well, yeah, and it creates like a mat. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It comes up and creates a mat. So like it feels like largemouth fishing because you're throwing on top, and you could probably punch, you could probably flip on these. I know you can flip for sure.
I know Christine was doing that on the Wisconsin River. She was taking a big giant thing and pitching into these mats and ripping them out.
Yeah, so I'm sure. But there's a lot of it there. Like, a lot of in certain parts of the river. There's just a ton of grass, especially in July. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like I've caught thousands of fish up there, over 1,000 in all my times being up there, and like I tell this story because it wasn't the biggest fish. It wasn't like I think it might have been 17 inches, but it probably weighed 3.5 pounds. Like it was, huge. But there was like this grass, and there was, you could fish the outside edge of it, or I guess it would be the inside edge of it, or the outside edge. There was only maybe like 3 foot of like water in between the bank and the start of this grass mat. And then the grass mat was huge. It was like, probably 30, 40 yards long. And then there's an outside or inside edge. And like, it's like one of those things you're looking back behind that grass. You're like, yeah, there's probably nothing back there. Like there's like, 6 inches of water, whatever. And I was throwing a frog and I like threw it back there, like with the intention of kind of bringing it across the grass mat and then dropping it, on the other side, which is where I'd been catching my fish. And I threw it back and there was like a tree sitting in like 6 inches of water. And like I threw this frog back there onto the bank, pull it off, and this fish, I don't know how far, but it swam at least 15, 20 feet with its back out of the water. Like I saw the whole fish back out of the water completely and then just annihilated this frog. I was like, holy crap, dude. Like I've never seen anything like
That's like the scenarios where I'm like, I'm pretty sure he didn't want to just eat that. He just wanted to like destroy it. He was just like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
No, dude. Did I tell you guys the story about the fish going on the bank? Did I tell you?
No.
I don't know about
this
that.
Is there too. I swear to God, this is true. I have a witness. I wasn't even throwing the lure. I was just watching this take place. My buddy Derek, Hoosier State Fishing, we were floating down the river, and there was like this chain of islands, and we kind of ended up in the same spot. And it was pre-spawn, and they were pretty aggressive. We caught a lot of fish that day, but it was kind of just the warm up. We were just getting started. It was the first day there. And I think he was throwing a spook, some kind of topper, maybe a whopper plopper. I don't know. He throws this whopper plopper or whatever it was, and he overshoots the edge of the bank. And the cast is going for it. And I'm sitting there watching this. This smallmouth tracks this thing in the air. It completely jumps onto the bank. Like his lure lands on the bank. This fish comes completely out of the water onto the bank, and obviously didn't get the lure because the lure is like 5 feet on the bank. But it chased the shadow and jumped onto the bank. And I was like, "Did you just see that, dude?"
Now, if you pick him up and measure him, does he count? Like,
well, it was so instantaneous. It like went on the bank, it like swam onto the bank, and then it like flip flopped down in the water
Back in.
on. We just like looked at each other. We're like, did that really just happen?
It's an orca, you know what I mean? It's just basically crashing up on, or a dolphin, it's just crashing up onto the bank. That's wild. Sorry, I had
That's what I
internet
like to hear about an
issues.
area because it means the smallmouth are big and dumb.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
ready to eat.
So I think 100 inches is a no-brainer here. But yeah, I think my internet's working now, so we'll see. But it just went out completely for a little while. Are you going to stick around and talk a little bit more with us, Josh? Will you bring in Dan while he's got some time? Go back in the green room, and we'll catch up more and with you just here in a minute. We'll bring in Dan from Clearwater Outfitters. I know you might have a limited amount of time here. So here he is. What's up, Dan?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. So thanks for joining us here short notice like this, but appreciate you guys. And, we got you on the website as, one of our official kayak dealers because you do carry many of the brands that sponsor the Kayak Adventure Series. So we got six sponsors and you carry many of those brands. So we will look forward to seeing you guys there and hopefully you guys make it out of the park and put some people in some boats and let them try out some new boats, and it'll be fun, man, over there at Lake George Park in downtown St. Cloud on that Saturday. But real quickly, tell everyone a little bit about your shop, where you're at, what you do within the kayak fishing community, because you got some great events that you've put on. You're right there on the water. and what you might be able to offer them, as the nearest kayak dealer. I don't know if you're going to do any or have any rental kayaks if someone decides to fly in. This is an event someone could easily fly in because, river fishing is, you don't need a bunch of electronics and a bunch, even motor. You could just float down this river and catch big fish. So people could fly in for this event, get a cheap flight. And if you do know of any kayaks or you have any rental kayaks, I would suggest they reach out to you. So take it away, man.
Yeah, we're happy that you guys are coming, and we are a paddle sports specialty shop and outfitter located right on the Mississippi River. So we're about 13 miles downriver from St. Cloud, but we run shuttles daily, usually between St. Cloud and Becker, which is downriver from St. Cloud. So we have a full fleet of fishing kayak rental boats, along with canoes and kayaks and paddle boards. But we do specialize in kayak fishing. Kayak fishing.
We
We'll run tournaments. We've been running them for, oh boy, I'm losing track. It's been over 10 years now that we've been doing kayak fishing tournaments on the river. And we were doing 2 a year for many years. And then after COVID, we switched to 1 a year. So we run tournaments in the summer, and then usually every fall we'll run a tournament, kind of the last September weekend of, or the last Saturday of September. And
yeah,
here it is right here.
What's that?
I pulled up the link to show them. It's on September 27th. They've already got the date booked on the website. So.
Yep. Yeah, and it's usually sell out. We'll open up registration, usually about 4 to 6 weeks before the tournament, and we get a lot of support from all of our the manufacturers, and we do carry quite a few top brand fishing kayaks, and looking forward to those shipments coming in this spring.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. And you get good turnouts at your events too. I mean, the tournaments you put on. I remember we talked in the past when you were getting like 100 people, right? I mean, 100 plus sometimes.
Usually we max it out at 50.
Okay.
And so just we like to keep it small. We have we do rentals for the tournaments, but a lot of people bring their own. We'll run shuttles for people, and then we have a big party and award ceremony afterwards. So we like to keep it a little bit more intimate and have
a familiar face.
Nice. Well, very nice. Yeah, I remember that's what it was. You guys maxed out, and you sign up. You sometimes fill up pretty quick, so max it out at 50. And who knows how many we'll get for this event, but we're definitely looking at over 100, and hopefully we can get into 150 or 200 people, because I know this is a destination for so many kayak anglers. And like we've talked about over and over on this show, what other reason would you ever just pack up and head up there? And this is a great excuse to do that. So.
Just to give you another idea of the amazing smallies, that in the tournament we do is just a strictly bronzeback smallmouth tournament. But I did some just calculating a couple years ago, and the top 40 fish that were registered averaged about 18.5 inches. So the smallies between 17 and 22 are just plentiful in the river. They're all catch and release. And, it's just, I think the last gentleman that was on talked about how, some rivers, maybe hit or miss. But, our regular anglers that come out and fish, they always have good times. I think it's just a matter of whether they get 10 or 30 on a given day.
Yeah. What's funny is this tournament, Minnesota has a law that you cannot use 2 rods at one time. And so we allow that in our rules. We allow 2 rods at one time, but we will not be allowing it at this event, obviously, because it's state law. But man, if you could, I bet you could just throw back in there, and all the ones chasing your other fish, you could just catch 2 at a time and just have a crazy, chaotic, fun situation.
If you find a good hole behind an eddy or something like that, a lot of times you can pull 2, 3 out of that hole.
What's the law on A-rigs up there for Minnesota? Is it 2 hooks?
On what?
The Alabama rig?
Alabama rigs, the umbrella rigs.
I don't think there's any special rules with that.
We'll
Because
ask.
you could do the double
we'll ask
whopper
Kruger.
popper
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they
you could.
run them in tandem.
Yeah, you could. We'll ask Eric. Either Scrivener or Kruger when they come on. What they know about. Yeah, they should know.
Those guys get out a lot more than I do. I just help get people on the river, so I don't get out as much as I think I could.
One hook A-rig, says Scott. So he would know.
Scott knows. Yeah, Scott knows. Scott already. So shout out to Jeff Daly and Scott Stolman. They just registered already during the live show. So
sick.
Yeah, they're already in the game. They're going to get their $100 gift bag as being one of the first 50 to register. This is exciting. Well, you guys, you run shuttles. So during practice, now if someone wants to get a shuttle in practice or even during the tournament, that's a section you normally don't do it. Are you guys going to be able to do that or have enough people that can maybe help out? Or do you think it's probably a little too much to ask?
We do regular shuttles daily between St. Cloud and Becker, but we'll do shuttles anywhere along the river. We just might have to make arrangements for it.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. And in this event, there's going to be anglers taking out and putting in all up and down that river, which we'll show the boundaries here in a minute and talk to the anglers about it. So what I typically do in a tournament, it sounds kind of crazy, but I mean, if you don't have a shuttle already lined up, you just put in and just float down, because you don't know where you might want to stop, you know what I mean? And just go wherever you want to go and take out wherever. We give you guys a long time to upload your photos. How's cell signal on the river? Pretty decent? Or we give the cell phone signal, is it pretty decent up there?
It's pretty good everywhere.
Pretty good. So you got an hour and 15 minutes on Saturday, hour and a half on Friday to upload photos. So just float down and take out wherever. You see other anglers there, you can hitch a ride with them, call you guys. Might be a short notice, may not be great, but either way, you call a friend, call someone else that you know that you're staying with at your hotel or Airbnb, and they can come pick you up after they get off the water. I wouldn't stress one bit. We're going to have people all up and down that river, so you can get a ride, no problem. If it's not from Clearwater, it'll be from somebody else. You guys have all the stuff kayak anglers would need at your shop, so go check them out, guys, at Clearwater Outfitters. And I think that was. Do you think you might have any rental kayaks if someone did want to fly in?
Yep, we have a full rental fleet.
Okay.
Oh,
perfect. You guys should fly in. Okay, I flew into Lake Havasu and won this 3 weeks ago, whatever that was. So you can fly in to a tournament and do well, and especially on a river tournament like this. So it's definitely something to think about, guys. Flights are not expensive into Minneapolis, so I think you guys should do it and try it. It should be fun.
Yeah, Minneapolis is about an hour and a half from our location, probably an hour and 40 minutes to St. Cloud.
Yep, not too bad.
There's van services that run shuttles between St. Cloud and Minneapolis daily.
Perfect. Or you could rent a pickup truck like I did for my kayak, that I had someone bring my kayak, but you could do an inflatable kayak and actually fly with it. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do to get here.
I almost did that in Florida, but.
Yep. Well, Dan, we appreciate your time and what you do for kayak fishing in the area, and we will catch you at the event. We'll be talking to you. I get a little bit closer, so expect some calls from some folks and some visitors about, especially that week or week before. So
sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya.
Yep.
Right. All right. Great dude there, doing some good stuff. All right. Let's see. Who is next? We'll bring Josh back in because I know Dan was limited on time, and we've got some other anglers. What's up, Josh? Back again. I see you got some people chirping you in the comments. Or you're muted again. How did this happen?
There, it meets me when you guys put me in the green room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I always get trolled in comments, dude. I don't know why, but apparently that's just. I must draw it.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah. So let's get right to it, man. We're gonna bring in Jake. You keep an eye out for the next guest coming in, because Eric, the Erics plural.
Yeah, double Eric technically
soon, and then we'll talk about it. But I was gone. Remember, my internet went out. But did you guys talk yet about any predictions, or obviously it sounded like Scott Stolman was saying 21s and 22s are pretty common. Anything like that?
22s are common. I would say that 21s maybe, but 22s, I don't know that that's common. I would if there's one 22 caught during the tournament, I think I would be like pretty not surprised, but I would be like, yeah, there's multiple 22s. That would be crazy. Like I've seen one 22 caught there. My dad caught it. I've never, but I probably have 10 ones there.
I might
Yeah,
have.
they kind of hit that
yeah.
wall, you know. It's like when they get over 21, it's like that's an old fish. It's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like a 23 is like
Yeah.
a freaking unicorn. So
Yeah, and I don't remember what the comment said. I mean, it said something like, "We'll see some 21s and 22s." So anyway, it looks like he's in there saying they're not common, but it sounds like we'll probably see some. But they're not common. But I think we will. It's going to be a great event. And so just quickly, let's talk about. So we had to change the name of this event. It's a long story. I should ask Craig if we could have told the story because it's kind of funny, actually, why we had to change the name. But
It's very funny.
it's very funny. I don't think there's anything wrong with it talking about it, but maybe we'll tell them at some point. But
I
anyway,
don't know.
but anyway, we'll skip that, I guess, for now. But Achigan, you guys, I called you and you were like, "Hey, this kind of is a cool idea." It kind of opened up this idea, like, why don't we have you guys kind of be the sponsor of one cool like signature smallmouth event every year for Kayak Adventure Series, and it's one that
Genius idea.
Yeah. Jake, definitely, good idea for sure. I don't remember exactly how it all came about, but
Drew was like scrambling, and I was like, "Well, what if we did this? Like, we do like a signature event, sort of like Broodstock, where it's like Achigan sponsors like a smallmouth destination.
Yeah, that's
it just makes sense because we're probably always going to have a smallmouth destination. So.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, we will. We're gonna have.
We just
multiple.
happen to have like 3 really good ones this year. So
yeah, we do. So anyway, it made sense. We're excited that you guys are gonna be there, and we'll. It sounds like you might have a special shirt or hat made for this event. Is that right? Maybe I can't remember if you.
I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I haven't decided. I was gonna tell you though, with the signups, we can allocate. Let's just say 10 packs of munchies. For those. So we'll how about this? We'll do a special edition Bronzequest color.
Oh.
And you can only get it if you sign up for this tournament. And you guys can give them away however you want if you want to do it. With
dude, I got a genius idea
or whatever.
So, what's the idea, Jake?
You should cast so do you have the mold jet for the big ones?
No.
Okay,
no,
I was going to say
that might be tough.
A gold one.
Yeah.
That's like specifically for whoever gets the biggest smallmouth at this event.
Oh, there you go.
And you call it like the golden munchie.
If we only need one, we probably could do that. But I haven't even prototyped that yet, so I don't want to.
I mean, it could be the little one. I just think it'd be cool to have like a non-use golden munchie. It's like, here you go, just like a little little extra prize for the big bag.
It can't be gold though. It has to be bronze.
Bronze.
Gold. The bronze munchie.
I caught our gold smallmouth last week. It was crazy.
Are you saying?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It wasn't orange. It was gold.
I saw that. I saw that. It was sick looking.
Are you saying, Josh, it's 10 packs of munchies or 10 individual munchies?
Yeah, 10 packs.
Then we'll talk about it off air, but you could also do, unless they have to be in a certain package, you could also do like enough or almost enough individual munchies. You see what I'm saying? Just one in everyone's gift bag. And that still would almost add up to, I don't know how many come in a pack though. How many come up?
Yeah, we could, except the packaging wouldn't because I've showed you this before. We gotta have it in packaging.
You know what would be hilarious though is if
true.
you put those munchies in the
true.
gift bags and then somebody beats you guys with your own bait.
Yeah, it beats you. Hey, let's bring Eric Kruger in. Eric Kruger could certainly be one of those guys.
Like I only needed one munchie the whole week. It lasted that long.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Eric. What's up? We want to bring you in. I can't remember if you just have a limited amount of time and you got to get off. So I wanted to get
I got
you
like
in
10, 15 minutes between patients, so I'm good.
Cool. So Eric, tell everyone a little bit about what you do up there with Slay, Minnesota, Slay Nation, Minnesota, and then also what you're doing with us with the Kayak Adventure Series, because you've been helping us out in a big way, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, so my name's Eric Krieger. I took over the Minnesota portion of the Slay Nation tournament series this year with my co-director, Eric Kofsky. He actually turned me on to the series about 2 years ago. Have always kind of wanted to start building up some of those smaller tournament series, and that kind of led to meeting Drew, reaching out to him, especially after seeing KS going to my favorite location, which is the Upper Mississippi. I've dropped some hints that I got to show Drew or have Drew share with the chat eventually of some big smallmouth that have already been on the board. So,
like this year?
Yeah, the one I sent you. That one I sent you was.
When is this? I'll share it. Can we share it now? Can I pull it in?
I'll resend it. I'll see if I can find it again. I'll send it to you. I think it was that one I sent you on the board. That was I think a 21 or a 22 and 5 1/4 ish.
From this year?
I think so. If not,
wow.
I can text it to you. And that was fun.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, that was the one I sent you on the board. That was a good one to add for the Upper Mississippi. So I'm of the opinion that that's probably one of the best stretches in Minnesota, obviously outside of Mille Lacs and a couple other locations.
So it was caught in this year in 2025.
No. Sorry, last year, 2024.
Okay, gotcha. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, you guys are freeze up.
Well, actually, that's in 2 weekends. Oh, you guys good?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, actually, we have a swim bait only tournament that I can throw a shout out for. Freeze Your Butt Off is actually going to be chasing on the 15th, so me and 2 buddies will be up there too.
Hey, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Josh, you
area where the power plant is.
Josh,
can you hear
That's
me?
choppy. Josh is like a robot.
Oh, hang on.
He's probably dying. But I guess while he's fixing that, I guess I can fill in the other part with KS. Drew and I got to talking, and I'm going to be kind of helping onboard local clubs throughout each of the tournament stretches. So the big thing that we spoke a lot about is getting education out to both local clubs and then solidifying that to national events. So the big thing that my role coming in with the KS is going to be helping give information to local teams, especially around the Minnesota area, or with a Call of Florida coming up, giving a platform to these local clubs to bring in people, get them to experience KS as well as local event series, but then have them stick. Because the biggest thing that we notice a lot of times is a big national tournament comes in, we get a bunch of people, but then the question I always hear, which is why I came on for the Slay Nation area, is what do I do after that? Like, I know I want to compete more. I want to have some camaraderie. I want to build things. And that's kind of what we're really doing with KS is how do we be that bridge to big national events that are bringing in 100+ people down to local clubs that are bringing in 20 to 50 people.
Right. And you are holding a joint event. Is that right? Or you just have an off weekend for this one? For
which one?
You,
for
the,
that.
Yeah. For this.
We're gonna have a co-event
Quest.
for that one. So we're gonna do.
Perfect.
I plan on having a co-event with that one. I haven't. So that'll be the first time a lot of people have heard about it because my schedule is gonna probably come out in another month-ish. But for sure we'll have probably 2 events in July for mine. One at the co-event and then a single one that's gonna actually be on. I'm not sure yet on that one.
When you get your schedule, when you get your Tourney X page made or whatever you guys use, let me know and we'll link it and we'll get it going on the website. We already got you guys listed as a joint event there, so that's cool. And I've got your fish here. So let's pull it up. Well, it needs to be rotated, I guess, but I don't know if we can rotate that on the fly here.
That one was, man, I think the date was still October or November-ish on that one too. So that was later winter. Like I said, shallow water fishing. Still, I mean, the big thing with the Mississippi is you're going to be a lot of clear water, a lot of shallows. Depending on the year, especially in July, you might end up wade fishing like the Susky at certain points, just because it can get pretty shallow about July, August. But with the map boundaries, I don't know if you guys talked about that. I wasn't able to sit on the live stream. You're going to have a lot of diverse opportunities to fish that.
There you go. That's better. Yeah.
That's just like a solid smallmouth. Like it's not fat. It's just long and muscular.
That thing was fun. That was and I'm guessing Eric Scribner, who you'll have on next, will have a lot to say about different ways that he's caught some of the big ones too. So it's going to be My opinion, this is just early opinions. I'd say if we're doing best 10 fish, you're going to have to probably have a real solid bet. Yep. Is it best 5? Is it best 10 or best 5 on that one?
5.
5. You're going to be closing in on 100 plus easily.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Eric, what's your guys' snowpack look like right now? Do you guys have a lot of snow on the ground?
up in St. Cloud when I was scouting for the tournament in 2 weeks, they got about 4 inches of snow, but we're pretty barren here right now. We don't have a huge snowpack, which is a big concern for water levels.
Yeah, when I've been up there in the springtime, I would like trying to figure out if we're going to get flooded out and calling up there, and they'd be like, yeah, there's 70 inches of snow pack on the ground right now. I'm like, holy crap, apparently that's like normal. But
it might be a little bit further up in Itasca. So the big thing, obviously, with flowages, and like we're not in Wisconsin, but the big thing that we usually deal with is usually that water transversing down from that Itasca area. So I'd have to look up there, and I could get a better look at that. But like even Monticello area where we'd be is like 4 to 6 inches right now. So that's kind of been the battle the last 2 years, is concern for low water marks. So that's going to be the interesting thing for July is you might have some wading opportunities or some areas that I know Drew and I talked about of kind of offshoots into some creeks and back channels that usually are going to only be accessible with a kayak anyways.
So early July, it's a good thing we have early July, not late July, August, or September, because, man, it sounds like it's going to be a little bit lower on water level this year. So we might be hitting this thing perfect.
That is a great time, in my opinion, for like, if I was going to pick a date, would be that early to mid-July. Like, you're going to have a lot of fish. I mean, I think I looked back last year or 2 years ago, we had one on the same stretch, smaller stretch that you guys had. And I believe the winner was 96 3/4. So
yeah. Okay. But I'm excited to see if we can hit 100 or multiple people can. I think somebody will. We are going to talk about the water now, the eligible water, if you guys want to look at the map. Before that, over here, Joey from Bass Raft saying he's got an extra bass raft if anyone wants to fly in. So that's one person offering it. You got the kayaks from Dan at Clearwater.
Maybe I'll fish out of a bass raft and fly up there.
Yeah.
That might be exciting on that river.
All right, let's go to the map and see what you guys think about this. I'm going to share the screen, and then you bounce whenever you need to, either one of you guys. And if you see Scrivener, hop in and pull him in, Jake. So here's the eligible water. We definitely want to keep this, more about the river. There's, like I say, 10,000 lakes everywhere. We could, within an hour of St. Cloud, you could have put in so many lakes, but this is all about the Mississippi Bronzequest, and that's where you want to be, So we're going to start at the north, our northern boundary. Again, these are launch boundaries, so you can go further upstream from the launch boundaries. But we put these an hour away as Google Maps driving time goes, about an hour away. We want to keep people close enough where you can get back to the festival at the St. George or Lake George Park there, and the awards and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, you can see here you got this. So it's kind of just south of Brainerd, here. And there's another river that comes in here. What's the name of this one?
The
Crow Wing. Yeah, looks like there's a dam right there.
Dude, that looks sick though.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. You got a lot of stuff happening in this zone, and we'll make our way down, and you can see. It's just, I can zoom in. You can see there's all kinds of cuts and islands, and like Josh was saying, that vegetation, it looks like it's there. That's what looks like what that is. That matted up stuff in this particular summertime satellite view. Let me actually get rid of this. Okay.
Yeah, in low water, that vegetation comes into play a lot more because it all floats up to the top. So you have a hard time fishing like non-weedless stuff.
You got offshoots.
That looks like a Drew spot there.
Yeah, a little offshoot, maybe a kayak can only get into some of those, like you guys said. Now, then this looks weird. And you got places like this that just totally mat up with vegetation. That's cool because that could be anywhere. That can hold a lot of life. You know what I mean?
Are there any largemouth up there?
I've had, I think maybe one, and that was actually at like a base of one of the dams in St. Cloud, and that surprised me. But
really,
I haven't caught a ton. Like I said, mainly smallmouth. You get the occasional, a lot of northern mixed in, some muskie.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
there's muskie too.
There's a dam here. Looks like at this section, they've got a dam. So some tail races could come into play and some deeper water above those dams.
Yep.
I
This is
definitely
actually
think
called-
that's true with it being summer. Like I could definitely see the tail races
Zebulon.
being in play.
Zebulon Pike Lake is what this one's called. There's
Yeah.
Blanchard Dam. So then you get into the section here that gets into, I mean, plenty of water. We have 200-300 people for this thing. It would be awesome. There's plenty of space for everyone to spread out.
Dude, why does my section of the Mississippi look nothing like this? It's so crappy down by me.
This is where
It's
we
hard
get
to believe it's the same river.
It's
honestly.
the, I mean,
St. Cloud.
this is a secret that I tell everybody. Like the fishing here, right in this stretch, is one of the best. I'd put it right up there as one of the best spots in Minnesota.
Well, not to toot our horn down here, but we have the best Asian carp fishery in the United States.
Keep working our way down south of St. Cloud. It keeps going all the way. And there's Clearwater, so it's just south of St. Cloud. That's where Clearwater Outfitters is, I believe, near there.
So right in that where
Yeah.
you zoomed in,
Yeah.
that bridge, if you go up, it's to your right, directly to
There
your
it
left. See
is.
that? Yep. So they put
Yeah,
in
right
for
there.
people that need to know that. I don't know if Dan let people know. He has a shuttle service that does
Yeah,
a 10
he
mile.
did.
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, he
Then-
talked about that. Yeah, that's cool. He's got rental kayaks,
Yep.
and then of course you can go all the way down to the southernmost launch boundary is right here. This
Yep.
I don't know what that is. That ramp there,
And then there should be a
Mississippi
dam.
West,
There should
Yeah.
be a dam just below that in Anoka.
just
That a lot of
downstream
people-
here.
Yeah, it should be kind of right in that Anoka Champlin area.
Here it is. That one.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's the one that's downstream of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a really good boundary stretch.
Or yeah, there's Anoka. So
Yeah,
it's just downstream. So you could, if someone had a motor, they could get from here all the way down to that dam, I guess, if they wanted to. Now, the only other stuff we have in play is that anything that's blue with a boat ramp on it, that's a lake. So this actually is a lake that's dammed up. It's called Orono Lake. And if you see here, there's a little dam off this, I guess it's the Elk River that they dammed up to make that lake. So we put that in play. You know, we just want to have a couple different kind of unique spots. But of course, any of these rivers, that Elk River that feeds that, any of that stuff that's free flowing, you know, that's the Elk River there. All the
Sock
way,
River looked cool too.
yeah, all the way up is inbound. So you guys can. Where'd my? I hate when I do that. Somehow I lose the pins. I don't understand why, or what I do to lose the pins. But anyway,
I'd be
so
really curious to see if someone who isn't fishing the main river ends up scoring a big bag, because like
yeah,
you never know. Like
you don't
'cause
know.
a lot of these fish
There's fish
probably don't get
everywhere. There's literally this. You guys, Eric, you guys are spoiled. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
that place is insane. You could probably drop in any creek, lake, river around that area, and you're just gonna
Yeah.
smash 'em.
Yeah, and I guess I would say, Jake, I know you asked about the largemouth. So when you get above the St. Cloud, in between the Brainerd area, there is a nice little stretch where it's wider, and it's got a lot more grass, and that's where I pulled that largemouth out. It looks almost like a kind of like a flowage in Wisconsin. Is how
Yeah,
I
it looks like
kinda-
a cross. I know what you're talking about.
Yep, it's
Um,
above that St. Cloud area.
Gotcha.
If
Oh yeah,
anybody
we
tries
saw
to
that.
win with largemouth,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, big mistake. The Crow River is in play. That's marked there. That kayaker at the Crow River, and this is the downstream boundary of the west or south Fork Crow
dude,
River
that
right
looks
here.
sick. Actually,
Yeah,
that looks
just-
like what I would love to fish.
It's smaller stuff, you know. And the Crow
Yeah.
River. That the interesting thing about the Crow River, if you keep following it, it actually keeps going.
Yep.
All the way closer to, if you look here, closer to St. Cloud. You know what I mean? Like it comes back up that direction. So you got it, you know, anything that's free flowing that is, you know, that's connected. So even if there's some lakes, we're not going to list every little teeny lake that, you know, any of these tributaries obviously feed naturally, right? If it's free flowing and just open and there's not a dam off of any of these tributaries, you can go up in there and fish that lake. And of course, smallmouth, you know, and largemouth live in those lakes. So keep that in mind too. As long as you're putting in, you know, water that's legal in terms of being connected to one of these core bodies of water. When you click on any of those blue marks, you know, whether it be lake or creek or river, you are good to go. And then there is one coming out of right there, the Sauk River that comes right through St. Cloud. And then there's an upstream launch boundary here. And there is a little dam there. So basically, that dam is kind of your boundary for that. So we won't want you. That's to go past that. So
And I wish I lived in the Granite Landing apartments because that would be the dream. They're right there on the river.
Yeah, for sure. If you go upstream, guys, just so that you know the KS rules, if you go upstream from any launch boundary and you hit a dam, like right here, there's this dam, that's a hard boundary. But if there's a dam anywhere downstream of that upstream launch boundary, like anywhere downstream towards our other core body of water, anything in there is all legal to portage over and fish over and launch above or below, whatever you want. See, it's kind of just
don't fish off of one.
Yeah, be careful. This is a free-flowing lake. It's right into. It's called Little Rock Lake. So this is just kind of naturally, right? I mean, there's no dam. I don't remember there being a dam here. It just naturally is filled up.
I don't think there is. I looked at that.
Yeah,
not when we looked over it, Drew. I don't think
there's a dam there. So that's legal because it's just naturally connected to the Mississippi. So that essentially is the Mississippi River. So anyway, that's kind of it. I mean, any other creeks and rivers that are free flowing into those things, you guys can fish. We're not going to list every one of them. We just list your core bodies of water. Think about your core body of water like a tree trunk. That's it. That's the trunk, and all the limbs and stuff, and all the branches are connected to that trunk naturally. So you can go and fish all those. We're not going to call out every little teeny creek and river in case someone's got some little sneaky spot. That's part of the fun too, and the research that you guys get to do while it's cold during the winter. So that's my favorite part. Some of my favorite parts, honestly, if not my favorite part of tournament fishing, is looking at and scouting out through satellite imagery and maps and trying to figure it out. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what happens at this event and what people find, because it's a lot of water in play. That's for sure.
Looks like other Eric has arrived as well.
That's perfect timing. I got to rock and roll, guys. So I'm looking forward to this event. It's going to be awesome.
Sweet. Thanks, buddy. We'll swap out Eric's.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off here too after I tell Scrivener hi. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. I can't wait to see you again and hopefully not get beat by you this time.
Well, I'm hoping to beat you again because it was a lot of fun the first time. So
he's gonna beat you with your own baits this time.
Yeah, he's gonna beat you with your own baits. I would love it, Scrivener. You got to get a munchie. You have to throw a munchie at this tournament and just beat Josh.
And he's gonna nose hook it too. So.
That's right.
Yeah, if it's grass, man, I might be throwing the weedless version. That I have a feeling with you guys not having a lot of snowpack, it might be pretty low by that point. So
I guess I'm further north, but up closer to the headwaters, we actually a really good snow year.
Oh, okay.
Further south, they have a lot less, but I'm closer to the headwaters, north of Brainerd area, basically, and we have some of the best snow in the state for snowmobiling and whatnot right now. So,
sick, nice. Yeah, I've been there both when it's been low and high, and I definitely prefer it high, just because it just opens up so much more fishing space. But yeah, dude, looking forward to seeing all you guys out there. Drew, I'll see you next weekend for maybe a day or so.
Yeah. On Friday, I'll be at the Columbus Fishing Expo. I'll see you there.
I need to have Drew buy me a pack of those.
Can't wait to see Munchie. Yeah, I'll get you back.
Drew's going to be swim bait flipping, dude. He's going to buy as much as he can.
I'm going to put my double frog hook is going in the Munchie. That's for sure. I'm going to find a way to make it happen.
Honestly, I was thinking about that because
don't say anything. We already have plans for this. Drew knows because I asked him about what.
Sick.
I figured you were asking.
You need to perfect it though.
The 7-inch one is going to have a line through, and it's going to have a double frog hook on it.
Dude, I've got some modifications you should consider.
Yeah. Well, we haven't even made a prototype, so it wouldn't be modifications.
Yeah. That's right. It'll be the.
I'll
talk to you guys later. Good to see you, buddy.
All right. See you.
All right. See you. Steve Baker trolling him a little bit there, with any man with a mustache is getting trolled. That's funny. All right. So, I noticed, by the way, JT Hickman has already signed up. So people are signing up right away. They heard that Josh was giving away munchies to like the first 10 anglers in those gift bags. So the first 10 might have a little bit different gift bag than everyone else. But Eric, what do you think? We talked about it a little bit. I mean, what are you feeling like? There's not as much snow there. You guys are, not quite as much as years past. July feels like it might be perfect early July for water levels compared to, obviously, if we could have put this in, August or September, and it sounds like it would be really, really low.
We actually moved it, if you recall.
I don't know if we ended up moving it.
You never ended up moving it.
Yeah,
You
we
talked
kept
about
it. We
and
kept
then
it.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah, we kept
Right.
it. So the tricky part is this is the weekend before ICAST. So anybody who's coming to this, which
And my wife's
again
gonna love that.
doesn't affect a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, if you go to ICAST, I might not go to ICAST. I mean, I've been, so many years in a row. It's like, I don't know how much new stuff really always happens at ICAST. But anyway, it's not a big deal. We like to use a weekend that we know Bassmaster's not going to use and any other national trails, and we end on Saturday. You know what I mean? So it's a little easier to get to ICAST by like Tuesday or Wednesday when you can even take a flight right out of Minnesota to Orlando.
Uh-oh. His internet might have died again.
No.
I died.
No, you're good now.
You're back.
I got you guys. Oh, I was going to say you could take a flight out of Minnesota and then down to Orlando and then just fly back. They're there a couple days for ICAST, fly back, then drive home. So it's not that hard, but we know that nobody else is going to use this weekend. So it's a good weekend for KS to kind of own. Maybe Father's Day is going to be that in the future for us. We use that. There's there's a few weekends that kind of are going to become like a standard KS weekend that other trails aren't using. But Eric, let's get to this event, man. You think a Century Belt or two is going to happen here? What do you think?
I do. I think Century Belt, if you want to be in contention to win it, there's a crazy amount of 20s that come out of this river. And, I've never got a 22 out of there. I know they come out and there's rumors of 23s, though I've never
You're just saving it, man, for this tournament.
Never seen one on a board from this stretch, but I'm hopeful we will in July. But yeah, I mean, big fish, lots of them. So just a lot of fish in general. Just to compare it to Wisconsin River Fest, because I feel like that's the most obvious comparison. Like, I did pretty well in that tournament, and I think I only caught about 10 fish the whole tournament. It wasn't a ton of numbers, but they were quality fish.
Right.
The Mississippi, this stretch, like, it's numbers of quality fish. And the cool part about it is, like, I know a lot of guys mostly fish the southern stretches, and I'm sure they're all convinced that's the stretch that's going to win, like down by Monticello where they hammer them in the winter and whatnot. But I mean, this could honestly be won on almost any stretch that's in play, which is just crazy to think about. Like, I went through the maps, and I think there's about 113 river miles of main stem Mississippi in play. Honestly, almost any stretch of that could have the winning 5 fish, because with the format, I mean, you only need 5 really good bites, and you're going to get that out of any stretch. It's just, is it the right 5 bites, which is kind of a cool.
That's kind of how the Susky is too. Like, it could be one on any launch on the main stem, right? And it's just, did you pick the one that has the less people, really? I mean,
right. Can you get away from people? Yeah.
So we got another angler too who've registered.
It's like a register-a-thon, like a telethon. Drew's over there on the old school phone talking to people.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how people catch them, because, and maybe Eric Kruger talked about this, but there are stretches, like a lot of the stretches that are in play are going to be your typical river fishing, shallower water kind of stuff. But like, they're big enough fish that, somebody throwing big 7-inch glides could just crush them if they're in the right mood. That said, one of the deeper stretches, throwing drop shot with live scope might be the deal. Like, it is the full gamut. Like,
hey, we don't discriminate here, though.
Yeah, no, I
fish how you want
either. And if somebody can do both of those things and put together a really big bag, I am even more impressed.
I'm actually really excited, since I won't fish the tournament, but I'll get up there early enough to fish a little bit. Oh, we lost Drew again. But I'm really excited to kind of look at some of these like offshoots, like the Sauk River, the Crow Wing River, just to like explore a little bit on top of, the main river. Now, I don't necessarily know if those are going to hold the biggest fish, but one thing I've learned about up north is these fish just don't get pressured like down here. It's like you have a chance to actually find like the dumbest fish that live. It's like they haven't seen a whopper plopper ever. So to them, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, just a heads up, man, my internet went out again. I'm back on my wife's hotspot, but I don't know what's up with our internet here. I got a call about that. But Merlin now, just in that short amount of time, Merlin Hammer has signed up. So it's
sick.
They're rolling in here fast. And I want to see us hit 200 plus people at this event. I don't know why we can't do it. It's a destination. And there's tons, like you just said, Eric, tons of river mile in play. And you probably didn't talk about this. I wasn't gone long, but I want to ask you, what do you think the odds are of any of the creeks and tributaries being in play too? Because
that is what we
there's
just talked about while you were
Oh,
going.
it is?
Yeah,
oh, get
sort
out
of.
of here.
Well, we started to, yeah.
And then you came back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, again, with the 5 fish between the 2 days format, I think it's a very high chance that could play. I've got a lot less experience fishing bass in the tributaries. When I hit the tributaries, it's usually for like, I'm a big multi-species guy. I fish, a lot of rough fish, whatnot. And that's where I'm hitting the tributaries in this area anyway. But I mean, they've got bass in them. And I mean, it doesn't take a lot of fish with how many big fish are around to be in contention, even,
Yeah. So maybe it's a combo. It could be a Friday and Saturday. Friday you do the main stem or vice versa, or a creek or a river, a smaller river, and just
are there a lot of
happens.
like shad in that portion of the Mississippi like there is down here?
No. So it's high enough up that with how cold our winters get, we get pretty good shad die-offs in Minnesota. You will see a lot of shad in the main stem Mississippi up to about the Twin Cities, not much north of that. So maybe in the lower stretches of what's in play, there will be some, and that would be about as early as we would start seeing them, because our shad mostly are migratory. They're not reproducing this far north because they're dying off each year and they're migrating up. But down by like Rochester area, you get a lot of shad. This far north, especially north of St. Cloud, you're not going to really.
So what would you say is their main forage up there?
Crayfish, shiners, river darters, stuff like that.
So you do have the big shiners. I was just curious because I know I've seen that you picked up a couple throwback Metro Glides. I was like, interesting. Maybe these will play.
Even without much for shad up here, like smallies are smallies, and they're going to hit big bait fish if they're in the mood. And so, they're probably the most. The thing that's mimicking is big shiners, suckers, other smallmouth, things like that, maybe even panfish, but perch, a lot of perch up here.
Perch, okay.
That's interesting.
But it's, not a huge shad. Like growing up in northern Minnesota, I didn't really understand what shad were until about 3 years ago. So I'm a little behind the ball, but that's less of a player than some of these other bait fish, but crayfish, huge source of food for them.
We have, the shad is so important around us because like this year, so we got a freeze. We got like, I think 7 inches of ice at one point, which is crazy. Like we don't get that here. That's completely abnormal. And we had a massive shad kill off, and it was needed because the shad were getting so big. Like we had shad in our lakes and rivers, like huge, like massive. And the funny thing is like I was catching bass that had like the shad tail sticking out last year because the shad had just gotten so big, and that's all they eat, that they were just forced to eat these massive shad and like digest it as it's crazy. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see. They digest it with it sticking out, and it slowly just goes through them. These fish are just crazy.
We get that with some of the lake smallies up here, where they'll eat Cisco or Tullaby, as they're also known. And they're a similar size. They're an oily fish, and they'll you'll catch them with an A-rig or Minnesota rig, a one hook A-rig in the fall, and you'll bring it up and there's a tail hanging out of the mouth. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. I can't wait to get up there and do some fishing myself. Merlin's excited, he says. Did you ever reach out to Merlin?
Not yet.
All right. Well, we might, if you need a place to stay, we might have a spot for you for the Bassmaster Championship. But
Joey's saying that same thing. He's from up there, so that's interesting. And that's the reason why I asked, because I know that I know the North fishes a lot different, but it doesn't really seem like smallmouth care. It's like, oh, well, they've never seen a shad, but I don't think you've probably never eaten, I don't know, some weird delicacy from another country, but if someone gives it to you, you're probably going to be like, yeah, I'll eat that.
Yeah, that's true. I always make the joke to people. It's like, I get matching the hatch and all that, but also like, we all know what's going to happen if you throw a goldfish into the Mississippi River.
They're going to eat
it. It doesn't look anything.
Well, I actually have a really strong theory that, and the reason why with like those bright colors with smallmouth, I think they see it and they're like, that's different. I want that. I want that.
Yeah.
Well, and going
Tired
back
of
to
eating.
talking about Throwback baits and the Metro glides, like Throwback is a Minnesota company. They make them in a northwest suburb of the Twin Cities. Small group of guys, and they're catching fish on them around here, shad or not. So
Yeah. Well, I've got my pink lemonade ready for this event. I'm gonna catch some on it.
Excellent.
I'm gonna see if James from Crescent's gonna make it here on the show. So we'll see. But anyway, I think, like you're saying, that they might just want variety. It sounds crazy, but like, why wouldn't fish who are eating the same thing all the time want something different every once in a while too? Which is why I think they get excited and they move to when there's a time when the frogs come out and the stuff gets matted up and frogs there. I think their feed on those, they could still eat crawfish. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like, but there's only a certain time of year that those frogs get there and they know that and they like the variety. It's just the way nature kind of works. They want,
when I was a kid, we killed a 5-pounder on accident, right? It happens. Like, it wasn't intentional. It was a largemouth, and we took it home, we cleaned it, we ate it. And this was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. And in its belly was a frog, a crayfish, a bluegill, a stick with some like moss and stuff. And then I want to say he had like I can't remember if this is the same fish, but it was like a little baby robin. Because I've cleaned 2 different fish that had baby robin in them. And it's just like, it just goes to show you, I think they just eat whatever. I mean, they see it and they're like, yeah, we're going to eat that. It's like, and it's like a feed response. And I think smallmouth are like the prime, even more so than largemouth, because largemouth are a little bit more skeptical and lazy because, they're largemouth. They're more of that lethargic, where the smallmouth's like, go, go, go. Like, I think if Drew was a fish, Drew would be a smallmouth, right? He's always on the go. He's ready to go. He's casting. He's going down the bank. He's ready to eat. Like that. That's what a smallmouth is.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. I would be a smallmouth if I had to pick what black bass species I was. I'm over here just always fidgeting, messing around. It's just, even I know I would be a smallmouth for sure. Well, Eric, I'm excited about it. I think there's a chance for so many different ways for these fish to be caught. We've talked about fishing for them like largemouth, essentially in the vegetation. We've talked about throwing big, swim baits and hard baits like that. I'm sure your normal like topwater baits, your spooks and buzz baits and plopper style baits play. I mean, it just sounds like they're going to eat almost anything. It's almost like what is going to come through the cover the best. Yeah, someone will probably. Yeah,
somebody will probably do well throwing a jig. It's
weightless. Weightless something. I mean, they will.
It might be the kind of thing where everything's catching them. Like you can catch them on topwater, you can catch them on whatever jerk baits. It's just a matter of how are you selecting out for those bigger fish,
big bites. That's what I was going to say. We all know that, and that people get sucked into this. And actually, down in Kissimmee at this Bassmaster tournament, people just sitting like, I can sit there out this grass patch in the middle of the lake and catch 15, I'd say 12, 13 to like 16 inches all day long. And then they realize that when they sat there and just get bite after bite and caught like 30 or 40, after that, you realize at some point, like a big one's never going to show up. The big ones don't live here. They're doing something. They live their lives differently than the smaller ones. Like I always make this analogy, a bull redfish, it grows up in the marsh. They spawn in the marsh and then they move offshore. They live their life totally different. And I've always found that to be true about your big bass of any species, largemouth or smallmouth. They are on a different regimen. They are totally on a different. It's not like you just fish your way down the river and you just get lucky and catch 5 big ones. Eventually you're going to catch. There is a certain pattern in a place that they are kind of hanging out.
They almost become a different fish. I listened to a really interesting part. They were talking about smallmouth on the Bass After Dark with Ken Duke. And one of the guys he had on there was saying how like at a certain point, the smallmouth becomes a different, it stops being just your typical smallmouth. It grows up and it becomes just different. Like something clicks in its mind. Its mouth isn't as small as you think it is, right? Like a big 22-inch smallmouth has a massive mouth and it can eat those swim baits in one gulp. It just becomes like a completely different fish at that point. It's not, it's not sitting there waiting for the Neko rig to come by. I'm not saying it won't eat it, right? But it's looking for the bigger meals. It's looking for it's more of like a aggressive alpha predator. Whereas like some of those smaller fish, they're just opportunists, they'll eat whatever.
It's living somewhere different too.
Right.
When I was
it lives where it wants to.
Yeah,
know?
it lives where it wants to, and it's not always the most obvious spots. But when I was at Havasu and that water was that clear, I rolled over a bunch of fish. And when I would roll over a big smallmouth, like they were all by themselves, and then when I'd roll over other smallmouth, they'd be like in, maybe 2 or 3 sometime together. But the biggest smallmouth, they were all alone in a weirdest spot. And one time when it wasn't a deep hole, which is not, necessarily always the case at all. Usually it's not. And then, for example, even when I caught a largemouth at this Kissimmee tournament, it wasn't in the nice big deep bend of the hole, this like outside bend. It was actually in this little teeny, one of the bigger ones I caught, a little teeny patch of grass that was near that deep hole, but it was still very shallow then. It was just kind of hiding back in that little patch of grass. And it's just interesting how they're usually loners a lot of times. I don't know about up there if you have a pack of like 21s all hanging together, but they get to a certain size, I feel like they just kind of become this loner that kind of alpha takes over a zone, but it's not always the most obvious spot. So we'll see how you guys just figure out how to differentiate your presentations, whether it's just go giant and hopefully fend away any small fish from even trying to bite it, or if it's more about the location or both of where you found the bigger fish are just kind of hanging out some unique pattern that they're on. So it'll be interesting. So let's see. Stolman saying he's pulled some hand-sized crappie out of their mouths before, so they're obviously eating that big kind of stuff. And then Jeff's back in here saying that Scrivener live scopes them through the ice. So what a talent.
That is true. I actually live scoped him through the ice on Sunday. I got about a half dozen through the ice scoping them. So.
Yeah, I think you caught a bigger
amazing.
smallmouth through the ice than I might have caught last year. Because that one you posted, I think it was maybe in your stories, was pretty big. And I was like, dude, this is making me feel bad. I got to work hard to catch a 20 around here.
That's all lake fishing up here. Lake fishing through the ice, it's a blast in the winter with the smallies.
Wow, that's cool, man. I see. I still have never done the ice fishing thing. I'm up here far enough north now in Northeast Ohio where I should, but I don't know, man. I'm always doing something with the kids and the family, and then have another trip
like
somewhere a little bit warmer.
It's really weird.
It's like what?
None of the lakes let you ice fish here, and I think it's just because we
Really?
never typically get enough ice, so they just don't want
Safety
you out there.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
year, it's like freaking drive a car across half our lake.
Mm-hmm.
Last question I've got, and I think James Durbecker from Crescent will be in here. We'll wrap it up with him for just 5-10 minutes. What do you think about motor versus pedal drive and paddle in this event? How likely could someone come in here with just a paddle, float down this river and win? Because to me, that seems pretty plausible. You know what I mean? Like people could fly in and just rent a kayak from Dan or borrow Joey's bass raft or something. You might need extra motor with that, but it seems like this could be an event where
you could paddle that.
Yeah.
So actually the tournament that Dan runs, the Bronzeback Classic that he does, it's a smaller local tournament in the fall. First time I ever fished on the Mississippi was one day of pre-fishing for that tournament. The first time I fished it, and that was just with a paddle, fished the tournament and won it. So I mean, it's very doable, especially with that awesome shuttle service they run. I mean, that it's point-to-point floats, very doable with a paddle and an anchor or a drag chain. If you want to do single point put-ins, that's where the motors really come in, because there's definitely some current that you got to contend with. It's a good sized river, and if there's any depth to it, it'll be flowing pretty good. So if you want to take out the same place you put in, a motor is going to be really, really helpful. But if you're brute strengthen it through, maybe you can do that with a pedal drive. I'm probably not man enough to do that, but I'll use my motor.
It's a lot of work, man. I've gone upriver with a pedal drive, and it's not it. I'd rather paddle.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. I think I'd rather paddle.
I think Scott Stolman might have done the single point with a pedal drive with the last Bronzeback, and I was impressed that he did that. I'm not exactly sure where he put in, but I think he did that, and I was paddling for that one, and it was rough. So I mean, props to him, but it's a motor's helpful if you want to do single point. But if you can do a float, absolutely, it's doable.
Yeah, absolutely. A float's going to help you cover a lot of water, and it's just something relaxing and fun about a river float. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to really use much energy other than just kind of getting your boat in position and whatnot. So that's cool that this event could very well be won with someone with just a paddle and 3 rods and a small tackle box. So we'll see how that
says it
all
was
shakes down.
exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, shout out to Scott too, man. That was so cool when he let Jake Cook borrow that kayak and drove it all the way to Havasu from Minnesota. That was cool. So look forward to seeing Scott and the rest of the gang up there. But thank you so much, Eric, for your time and your insight on the event. You guys have a practice window. I'll say right now, I could pull up the screen, but your 2-week practice window begins on 6/27. Okay. So that's the month before. That means you get 4 days of practice on eligible water, whatever 4 days you choose. So that's when it all really begins. Until then, you guys can fish as much as you want. And then we'll see how it all shakes down. And I'll probably get in early that week. I don't know, Monday or something, and try to get on the water a little bit myself. So I'm excited.
I will be there Monday 100%. Like, honestly, I might even come on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely probably worth it. Well, thanks, Eric. We'll let you get back to it, and we'll bring in James from Crescent. Thanks, buddy.
All right, take care.
Cool. All right, let's bring James in. He's here. We'll wrap up the show. James Durbecker at Crescent. What's up, buddy? Sounds like you just sounds like you're still winded. You just got off the bike?
I did. Am I breathing heavy?
No, I'm joking with you because I knew you were off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool, man. Got a little exercise in right before the show here. So you're gonna close it out. But how things been, man? How things been over the winter over there at Crescent?
Been riding a lot, like you mentioned. So just got out of the cold plunge too. So feeling nice and refreshed. Yeah, it's funny. It's one good sign about being out a lot is it's starting to warm up. So it's a good time of year.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to open up. Like you're getting your tournaments fired up. That's real cool. And the weather's starting to warm up. So yeah, it's funny though. Like by summer, it's kind of time to enjoy the more of the outdoors. But right now in our industry, it's almost the busiest time of year. You know, we're kind of gearing everything up, preseason productions going, and any changes are buttoned up and got to present all that through all the channels. So it's kind of full go right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing you just mentioned, the ice cap, that's pretty cool. What we need to do is get, I don't know which events you guys will be able to show up to, if any of them, but man, it would be cool if we could get one of those ice cap cold plungers for people to try at our festival.
I've been wanting to try it. I thought
that would be, that'd be so cool to have one of those there and just see who will do it.
It's unbelievable as starting to age out. It's pretty unbelievable how good it is for muscles and everything. And I've built it into my pretty much every morning. I start that out. I'm actually in my backyard. My sauna is like right back here or whatever. Nice. So kind of do the sauna and cold plunge.
We got to get into one of those, man. I got to get one for sure. My wife's been talking about it. We've talked about it. I need to make it happen for sure. Because I mean, I'm getting up there, dude, 45, and I'm feeling it so much, man. I need to do that so bad. So we'll get one of those. Maybe we can get one of those and show it off at, one of the events or some of the events. We need like some reason, some name, something to like, where you have to like do the plunge for some reason. You know what I mean? Like Jake, if there's something that someone does or doesn't do or whatever, that they got
supposed to not be quite punishment.
I know, but then they'll realize, oh, this is actually a benefit. This is actually good. It's not a punishment.
I tell you what, man, me and my daughter came last year, right, to the Georgia event. We had so much fun, man. You guys let her get up on stage, and was that the first one ever last year? Or was the second one?
First one. So that's why it was a cluster on stage for Jake and I.
Yeah, but the concepts are so cool, man. I think as you guys are figuring those out, like I think you guys have done really cool. Like it feels modern, like with that GoPro stuff and like encouraging the content. And then you see like when that's buttoned up, like it's really awesome. It's kind of interactive of the event. It's really cool what you guys are doing with it.
It is. It has been a lot of fun, and seeing Jake use all their the anglers' content, on social, it's just so cool, man. Because they get a lot of exposure, and that's cool and exciting. Obviously, when an organization outside is sharing your stuff and not just you. You know what I mean? Your social media platform, it's your organization. That's kind of cool. So Kyle Miller's saying it's the first place plunge. So
like instead of the
there you
Gatorade,
go.
instead of the Gatorade, you jump in the, you know how the coach jumps in.
Yeah.
You gotta
We've
jump
been
in
doing
the
events
full
with it,
plunge.
man. It's kind of crazy. Everyone's kind of standoffish. Like we'll go to some like marathons and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool how I don't know. Maybe it's like people go through a traumatic experience together and then they feel closer, but it's like something people
That's
bond
true.
over.
I
for
was
sure.
actually thinking that it'd be great, like endurance training too for winter kayaking, because I've thought about that. Like I've never fallen in the winter. Probably now I'm going to, but it's like if you've been doing that, you might actually be like kind of like okay.
Yeah, kind of used to the shock.
Oh, between riding all winter and that, I've had so much cold exposure this year. I'm pretty strong to it now.
Yeah, well, on the kayak side, we got some cool new stuff. We can't really, talk about, all of it or whatever, but we do have a lot of cool stuff happening with Crescent this year. So I think we've teased it already a little bit about something.
Maybe
new coming up
tomorrow.
on
maybe
the
maybe
Specialized.
something gets born, not presented, but maybe a trial is happening. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows
we're getting
what might
close
be
on
in
some
the
cool
works.
stuff.
Yeah.
And we got Crescent as the official kayak manufacturer for this Mississippi Bronzequest event here in the Upper Mississippi, which is going to be perfect for, like we just talked about with the previous guest, Eric Scrivener, how people could easily win this tournament just with a paddle and 3 rods. And that's kind of like what Crescent's born on, that simplicity, good paddling, well-made, USA, well-made, good paddling, good holes, kayaks. This is the perfect event for Crescent. That's why I thought it was just the perfect fit to tie it with Crescent. And, maybe even something new that's born, even that we're talking about, even applies really well with this event. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But I'm excited about this year with Crescent and all the great boats we've got in our lineup. I've got a Primo, an Ultralight, and a Shoaly down in Florida waiting on myself and my family when we fly back down in a couple weeks for Ocalapalooza. Can't wait to get out there in the spring-fed waters. But anything in particular you are excited about this year, or you can share before we let you go?
I think we'll have stuff rolling out over the next couple of months that are really cool. I think, we are very known for well paddling kayaks, which is awesome. Always just give gratitude to the really cool community we've created. I think what you'll see with the brand some this year too is just making sure that we stay, our kayaks are modern. So I think in that spirit, like we will integrate some plumbing stuff into kayaks, some power kits and steering systems that we're about to come out with too. So yes, like that is always going to be the core spirit of Crescent, is going to be paddling, but also like I think performance is a great word for us. So what's great, we go American made performance, and there's really no limit of where we can take that. And so we want to make sure our boats perform well under power and go into some of those territories too. But we'll never forget our roots in paddling and working to develop things in that area as well. So I just think a cool thing is the bar keeps getting raised on what the expectations should be in a kayak. It should paddle well, it should have stern power, and maybe even be set up for bow power too. And so we're going to make sure we are kind of giving awesome options in all genres. And we're super grateful to be partnered with you, Drew. We love going into places and going there with awesome authorities in the space too.
Yeah, buddy. We got the website pulled up and all those colors. Everything looks great. The new K
Crescent
Craft
has the best
sweet
colors.
Yeah,
in my
pop.
opinion, straight up.
They pop. Really
we try to go. We go for the retro futuristic funk is what the the goal. Always try to make it look good.
Yeah, definitely working. And even that Primo, guys. I mean, look. I know there's a lot of kayaks out there at different price points, but I mean, what's that this year? It's only what is this? The price point $699.
Right,
yeah, that's right. Just want to make sure it didn't change.
Yeah.
$699.
Right,
I mean, that's it. I mean, and you're good with it's lightweight, so you can get it in and out of those access points that are really kayak only kind of places, which is why I love kayak fishing. Why I got into it. So boats like that, the ultralight, even the Shoaly is like 75 pounds. I mean, you could get them into all these places, and it's a great river boat, great little throw and goes. So
And
yeah,
this CK2, you know, I've got one
Yep.
of those, and this is the fastest kayak I've ever been in. And it,
Yep.
Yeah, we're really
I-
happy
motor.
with that being a hybrid of like it can absolutely really. I forget the YouTube one that they did. It was really awesome. They took out like 10 different boats and did all the ratings and all that, and they really found that that whole design is what they thought performed the best under power because it's got a really nice bulbous nose, so it can handle that
Yeah.
that weight, and it stays incredibly dry under power too. So I think it's like the truest hybrid as far as power and paddle. I think, you know,
yeah,
over
paddles
time,
really well.
yeah, it's some power
Mhm.
stuff isn't ever meant to be paddled. I think this one is, to me, like a true hybrid.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
it's
going to
good
do
that-
some stuff that we'll make some announcements in the next couple weeks with we're planning on doing like integrated plumbing and steering systems coming standard on that boat. So again,
Yeah, that
just
was a
keeping it-
tricky one.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
access ports and everything. We have it figured out, and we'll make some announcements.
See,
here in the
that's
next
what I was
couple weeks.
hoping. We would get some juice on the show live that no one knows about, and you're able to share that. So for people that didn't catch
Well,
that,
you know,
you
when
know.
we don't execute on it, then I'm screwed. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying not to.
So
but
say
no,
too
I
much.
mean, yeah, let's really get it fired up. So the plan is to pre-plumb all shoalies in 2025 if you want
Mhm.
some juice. So the shoalie's going to come pre-plumbed for 2025. That's going to have it, and we're going to have a new steering system coming out with making that available. So
Yeah.
making the shoalie geared more towards power, or if you are wanting to do that, you know, it could be ready to accommodate it. Looking to maybe do a kayak specific or angler specific chair.
Yeah.
Upgrades to CK2, making it more power oriented with that new steering system I'm talking about, and
Yep.
plumbed. So, and then maybe we're already in trials on some other stuff. If so,
That's
does
awesome.
that sound hyped?
That's dude, that got us hyped. Pull up that shoalie, Jake. If you
Yeah,
want, we'll end on that. If you can get
I will
the
say,
shoalie.
you know,
Mhm.
I get a lot of questions personally about like Shoalie and the CK2. And I could tell you guys, I walked to the end of both of these. Like they are super stable. They
Oh,
have,
for sure.
like somebody else had brought that up earlier there.
Yeah, they are. They are very, very stable boats. I mean, like anything, the thing that I love about them, they're stable, but at the same time, they're not overly stable to the point where you feel like you're in some big wide boat. And now, if it ever is so overly stable, it's so heavy and big and wide that you just can't throw it in the back of your truck anymore. You can't car top it. You can't. So that we kind of hit that perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it
Or you
lets
can't react to the environment, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
You can like
that
bounce
primary
off rocks.
stability. Yeah, if it's primary stability, that's all you can be. Where like you said, Drew, I think
Right.
we struck a nice balance between letting you react to the environment while still having that second stability where you do feel confident when you engage it.
Right, exactly. Well, man, we appreciate it. Crescent's doing great stuff, and we're excited to be there at that event. And hopefully, we'll find the nearest dealer, which might be our Quarry Springs outfitters, and we'll get them to bring some kayaks, and people could try out, you know, the shoalie and any of the kayaks, and of course, maybe even something new. So we'll see how it
Listen,
goes.
me and Zoe want to get back on the stage, dude. We got to figure it out.
Yeah, we got to
Come
figure
to
out which one you
Ocala.
guys. Yeah, come to Ocala, Florida
Be
in a couple
warm.
weeks. It will be warm. That's true.
Okay, well,
So,
appreciate you guys letting me on,
All
and I think you guys are doing awesome stuff. So happy to be a part of it.
all right, man. Appreciate it. See you, buddy. Thanks.
All right, see you guys.
Bye. So he's off, and I just want to say that was cool getting that special juice because I didn't want to say it because I didn't know, if we could. So that's really cool that James shared with us. So
that's going to be huge because like, so I've obviously rigged a lot of shoalies, but this CK2 doing the steering on that challenged me. That challenged me.
So basically just to very clearly, as we'll close on this, what he's saying is you're steering the tubing, like the plumbing, you know what I mean? For the steering is already going to be like run. It sounds like, you know, it sounds like it's like 95% sure that we're going to be able to pull it off at Crescent. So that's cool. And then it makes it so easy. Just plug and play. You just got to put your 4 bolts in for your motor bracket, you know, or and then your lines run right through there because the tubing's already done. It's very easy. You just run it right through there. And the steering he's also talking about a steering system that's going to come with it. So that's something new as well. So it's all going to be just, dude, so simple, plug and play.
Yeah. So like
dealers,
the big issue the CK2 had was like you could see the little frog eyes here where my hand's at, and you got the motor plate, so your steering has to go up through there. You really need some sort of access right there to get that run through from up here to go back here. And so
Yeah.
the only reason why I was able to do it is I had 2 power plugs coming out here on each side, and I was able to access those frog eyes.
Right.
But it's still really
Tough.
tricky.
Yeah.
I've actually got like a pretty sick CK2 build. Like I honestly want to put both motors on it and turn it into like a river jet boat, but never have time for everything.
Yeah, exactly. But I think dealers going to love this because they don't have to worry about, making a difficult install for somebody. It's really easy. So, Kyle says he caught a picture of a prototype he shared on one of the YouTube channels. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was, I don't know which one he's talking about or what prototype, Kyle, but maybe it's just a K-Craft and you're thinking of, but maybe not. Maybe he did show a prototype of something. But the steering is going to be really cool. That's something that, I haven't told anybody about yet, the new steering system. So he mentioned that. So that's going to be cool. And did you catch that he said something about a new seat? Did you catch that?
I did.
Yes. So a new seat that can be, sounds like retrofitted back to any Crescent kayak. So that was 3 big things right there that without even saying the big main thing that's coming, that's pretty cool. So I'm excited to see what that does for Crescent this year and how much it helps you guys make your life a little bit more comfortable or easier on the water so you get out there and enjoy these incredible places like Upper Mississippi River. So we'll end basically on that unless you got anything else.
Nope.
Cool. That was a long one, but I think it was a good one, and we got to talk smallmouth, and big smallmouth, and people are pumped for this one. So we will have to see what happens. I'm going to say 3 century belts. This one.
I'm going to say 5.
5? Okay. I'm going to say,
because I honestly think that, like, think about, I was looking at like the Susquehanna in July, and there was 5 people who caught 100, right? So and that was good. Obviously they didn't catch 100 twice, right? It was only that first day back in July or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling that we're going to see some big stringers come. Since it's only 5 fish, you basically have the evening session,
right?
And then you got the full day. So I honestly think that evening session might be huge in the summer. I think
huge. The afternoon, evening. Yeah.
Imagine if you got like a couple 20s on Friday, then on Saturday, it's just like you're playing with house money, It's like that century belt is smooth sailing if you're on them.
There's a lot of time before this event. We should toy around with maybe giving them an extra hour on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's so much sunlight in July.
Well, the big issue I think is that
we'll see.
We have to get people like off the water, It's like, and
for
they have
sure.
to wake up early.
Yeah, that's why we don't want to get them all the way to like actual like sunset.
Right.
But if there's a way to start 30 minutes sooner, you know what I mean, at 2:30 and end 7:30, and they get an extra hour and it only costs them 30 minutes on the back end, gets them a little closer to that evening bite. That could be interesting. It really could. I mean, Bash You Brunch could start a little bit, so like 30 minutes sooner to kind of like accommodate that. We'll think about it because our signature series smallmouth event, maybe it's worth trying something like that. Just give 5 hours and then 9 hours on the next day. So that's 9. That's that's a lot of, that's almost nearly 2 full days of, 2 full days of fishing. Normally a 2-day tournament is 16 hours, right? 8 and 8. So that's like 2 hours shy of like a full 2 days of fishing. So you're still getting 2 full days almost, but you're also able to end on Saturday, which is great for everyone and what people want. So they can come back to the awards. We can have our festival. We can have the fun, go to the after party, celebrate the night away, and then still just sleep in, drive home on Sunday. So it'll be interesting. Scrivener's saying sunset's going to be around 9. So, I mean, getting them to get all the way to 7:30, maybe even 8, but 7:30 at least. Again, what Jake was saying is what we try to do is let's say you got a 30-minute paddle off the river and if we ended at 8 o'clock and you got a 30-minute paddle off the river, then it takes you 20, 30 minutes to load up. It's an hour. You're looking at 9 o'clock, then it takes you an hour or 45 minutes to get wherever you're staying from where you are fishing. You got to get dinner. You got to charge batteries. You got to get everything set up for the next day. Plus the next day is going to come super early because sunrise is going to be so much earlier in the summer. So we're going to start you guys typically lines in 30 minutes, lines in and launch 30 minutes before sunrise. So it crunches you guys and wears you out, but it's worth considering for sure. So maybe we'll get some feedback.
Just camp
from you
on
guys.
the river, man. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Camp on the river. If you only knew what section you were going to fish right now, you could put your Airbnb or your hotel or campground right there, but you don't, and who knows? But
I won a tournament camping on the river last year.
Oh, it was the Surf Expo. Kyle said, "Yeah, I mean that skiff. I know what you're talking about."
We might be losing Drew here. Right on time, right?
I was talking about. I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.